Illinois head coach Janet Rayfield with us. Janet, tough weekend last week, kind of a thin team here over the last couple of weeks, and a team that's kind of struggling a little bit. How do you assess where this team is right now heading into Saturday?
I think you said it. It's a thin team, and they were thin on confidence on Sunday. And, I think what we're trying to do this week is sort of reestablish what we're good at, reestablish what the players are capable of doing. And, there's a great quote that says, don't let what you can't do get in the way of what you can do. And we certainly, I think, did that on Sunday. And so, we've got to, certainly we're going to get some players back, but those players back, doesn't connect a pass for the player who's already on the field. So the players on the field have to play at the level they're capable of and play that way confidently. And we're certainly working on that in practice and trying to get back to some of the things that are us, keeping the ball, moving the ball, playing off of each other. And I think if we can do that, then we'll go into Saturday feeling good about ourselves.
You mentioned the possibility of getting some players back this week. Of course, Hope is out for the season with the collarbone injury, but Vanessa DiBernardo, Casey Conine, Reagan Robishaw, might we see one or more of those players on Saturday?
Yeah, Casey and Reagan have both been back at practice. Vanessa's jogging a little bit and running, so they're all progressing. I certainly think Casey and Reagan will be back in the mix. And we'll still have to see with Vanessa. That's still a day-to-day, but certainly things are getting better. Seeing her moving around and running, and she's ready to strike a ball. I don't think the docs are ready for her to yet, but certainly a possibility. I wouldn't consider it a probability. But, like I said, we're going to get some players back. That'll certainly help us. It's a one-game weekend, and then we get a Thursday, Sunday, so we don't even have a Friday, Sunday rhythm for a while. So, even a thin team, we should go into these next 3 games with some confidence that we can go into every game with the legs that we need to perform.
What are some things specifically that you didn't see the last weekend against Purdue and Indiana that you want to see from your team? What are some of the things that this team can do that they haven't been doing?
Well, you actually saw them in Purdue and Indiana. You just didn't see them all the way through the game. So, we started off the Purdue game and the Indiana game with some possession. The first 10 or 15 minutes of Indiana, we had some really good possession. And then I think fatigue starts to creep into our mind, and then we get concerned that we don't have the legs to last, and we start trying to preserve ourselves, and then we start making some mental errors due to that fatigue. So, I want us to find players and find players' feet, especially in transition. You don't count turnovers like you do in football, but every time you turn the ball over and your defense has to get back out on the field, that fatigues them more. And we were doing that in a soccer way. We were turning the ball over at times where we were expanding in order to try to keep it, and then you've got to sprint extra hard to get back and defend. So when we have it, we don't want to give it back to them as easily as we have been. At least make them win it back. And we did that in the Purdue game. We did it in the Indiana game. We just have to do it consistently from start to finish. And through fatigue and through substitution, we have to be able to do that.
I wanted to ask you a little bit about Alina Wykamp. Certainly she's been all over the field for you this year, in the midfield, a couple of different spots on the back line. Pretty much whatever you ask her to do, she does it.
She does, and she does it willingly and does it with a smile on her face and says, I'll try and do the best I can. And, it's one of her greatest strengths is her versatility. And, I think we'll find a spot in the next year or two where she becomes a staple, a little bit like Jenna Carosio, who played all over the place for us and then became a stalwart center back in her senior year. Alina's done that. She's getting a lot of experience playing a lot of places. And we're going to find throughout this, I think, what she does really, really well and find that niche for her moving forward. But right now, she does everything pretty well. She wins balls in the air. She can play out on the flank. She's got the pace to get up and down. She's got the fitness to get up and down. She sees the game so she can play centrally and organized. So a player like that will certainly find her role as she moves on and grows and matures, and we sort of build a team around her as people graduate. But for right now, she's filling whatever hole we need her to fill and doing it well.
Wisconsin, the opponent on Saturday, they've got just one loss in the Big Ten so far. That was a 1-goal loss at home against Penn State. As you look at Paula Wilkins' team here this season, what are some challenges they present?
I mean, it's a talented team, and certainly I think their strength is their midfield, and that's where, we've been a little bit thin. So, getting some players back will help us there. Our midfield's going to have to be good on Saturday. Their players coming out of the midfield, I think, have been great in terms of creating goals as well as scoring goals. And then they've got 2 dynamic front runners that make your back line pay attention to them, and and that certainly opens things up for the midfield. So, I think the key, though, is I think that their midfield has really been a strength for them. They've got some experience there. I love Kelter coming back and playing with them. Some really good youth. Roosevelt doing a great job. McKinley. So they certainly have the players, to get that done. The good thing is they don't play a lot of players either. They don't play 16, 17, 18 players in a game. They're 13, 14 deep. So I think we're going to be similar. It's whose players can play 90 minutes and do the things that they do well for a consistent game.